The truth about why your halal business never took off. I'm Ameen, and alhamdulillah, I've coached hundreds of Muslim men on their business and on their life, and I've got unique insights into what makes a businessman succeed or not. And it's really often not what you would expect. I've also grown, alhamdulillah, multiple businesses to 6 figures and even 1 to 7 figures, and I know exactly what stopped me and what helped me throughout that 7-year journey. So in this video, I'm going to take all of my insights and experience and tell you exactly what is holding you back. This will really apply to 98% of you. And trust me, it's nothing to do with the course you bought, the business model you chose, or the economic environment. And then I'm going to guide you on exactly how you can finally be a successful businessman, making your first $10, $100, and $1,000 online, inshallah. So let's get into it. Bismillah. Think of starting and growing a business like a map through the jungle. A lot of people obsess over which map exactly to buy. Do they take the consulting path, the dropshipping trail, or the real estate route? Or should they wait for the perfect weather so they can make it through the jungle as easy as possible? And they might even splash out on a shortcut through the jungle course. But what I found is that the explorers that survive and make it to the gold at the end of the jungle trail, they're the ones that keep moving their feet no matter what, swinging their machete despite the heat, despite the unclear trails. And when the mosquitoes of self-doubt come around and swarm them, they swat them away and they move continuously forward. You see, for those explorers that make it to the end, the maps help, the perfect weather aids them if it comes, and the different tools and the type of machete that they have, it all helps them. But what actually causes their success is their determination to get through the jungle no matter what. And this is the complete opposite to those who are standing at the edge of the jungle, checking their maps, over-analyzing and over-planning the route. If we apply this to how a lot of people think about business and why they're not succeeding, is they often will blame the business model. Like they will think that the reason that they succeeded or not is the business model. If we take, for example, social media marketing agency, it's very common, you've probably heard of it. Is there something about social media marketing agency that doesn't work, that just isn't right? Of course not, because there are plenty of people who are successful with it. The same thing goes for FBA, e-commerce, any business model, if executed properly and if done by the right people in the right conditions, can succeed. The question is, are you going to make it succeed? The other thing they might blame things on is the course that they bought. A lot of us, alhamdulillah, we bought courses on how to start businesses or how to achieve many things in life. And a lot of the times, I'll tell you something, as a course creator myself, we go into overdrive to make that course as amazing as possible. But what we find is a lot of people don't consume the content, and even if they consume it, they don't take action on it. And even if they take action on it, they don't fully execute to the best of their ability. They're just not putting the time in. So yes, there are some courses out there which might not be that good, but most of them are not scams. Most of them are decent. The problem is the execution isn't there. So if we take that map and jungle analogy to the real world, what I notice is a lot of beginners and people who haven't had success yet in business, they might blame the business model, thinking that there are certain business models that just work and some that don't. That's not true, of course. There are successful stories of businesses doing all types of business models. And the other thing that they might blame is the economic conditions. They might say it's not a good time, that's why people aren't buying, that's why it's not working. But the truth is that there are so many people in the world that often that's not the reason it's not working. It's something else. The difference between those people and the successful people in business is that the successful business people, they often don't have that type of self-talk. They don't have that negativity. Their focus, when it's not working, that is on, okay, what can I do better? What's the bottleneck? How do I solve this? They're very proactive and resourceful. And the problem with misdiagnosing why your business hasn't worked yet makes all the difference. It's like, imagine you've got a broken leg and you go to the doctor and the doctor sees a little scrape on your arm and he starts to tend to your arm, but your leg is broken here. You need to pay attention to the right thing. Otherwise, you'll go away with your arm looking great and you still won't be able to walk. So you need to fix the correct thing, and then inshallah you'll get great success in business. And the saddest thing about this approach to business and getting success in business is that it often steals so much time from you. And it steals money as well in the process. And the worst thing that it steals is your enthusiasm for having business. You see, a lot of people, they only have 2, 3, 4 shots at business in them. And after the 4th one kind of fails, they won't feel like going back to it. And that is the saddest thing. And if you keep trying at business and it keeps not working out because you're not dealing with the correct issues, then that's just so sad, because it could have been fixed by focusing on the right things. But inshallah, we're going to show you exactly what those things are in this video. And I'm not talking from a high horse. I know exactly what this is like, because from age about 18, I wanted a business. I always wanted to have a business. I kind of went down the academic path. I got 3 different degrees because I was just good at that, and that was like a certain route. But I knew deep down I always wanted a business, even if it was later in life. My problem was I was so worried of getting stuck in the 9-to-5 type of lifestyle that I didn't get a good job. So from age 20 to 25, I kind of just did one very basic job for about a year and a half. And all the rest of the time I was just studying or looking for jobs and stuff like that. I had a very low confidence, and I just really wanted to do business. I spent thousands on starting different businesses, whether it was in e-commerce. I spent thousands on FBA. I had a couple different products that I tried there. And I even tried affiliate marketing right at the beginning. None of these worked for me. The difference all happened around age 25, 26, when I started a social media marketing agency, yes, but there's nothing to do with the model which worked. The difference this time was not the model, not the course, not the economic environment. The difference was that I had business partners, and we set up a system to have clear tasks, clear expectations, and I was held accountable by them. I was also coached and mentored by them. And that is how I succeeded, I would say. Beyond just the grace and the mercy of Allah, it was because of that system and that structure in place of just doing and taking action, taking responsibility for the results, and just going for it full on. The result of this was that business, quite quickly, we got it to 10 to 20,000 pounds a month in revenue. And then eventually we got that same business with a few tweaks to 100,000 pounds in revenue in one of the months. So the lesson I learned from this was it's nothing to do with the business model or the course or anything like that. It's to do with simply taking action, going all in, and really putting that effort and time to get results. So that's lesson number 1. But lesson number 2 that will help you succeed in business beyond the things that I said people usually worry about or complain about or blame for their lack of success is having a long-term mindset. If you think long-term in your business and you think, wow, this business, it will really give me the life of my dreams. And inshallah, this business will be around for 10 years, 20 years, maybe the rest of my life. And if that's the case, if this business is going to be around for 20 years, is it not worth it for me to grind on it for a year, 2 years? Obviously, as long as you're seeing some progress along the way, isn't it worth it? But what I see a lot of the time is the opposite, where they give it 3 months, they give it 6 months of half-hearted effort, and they wonder where the results are. They don't feel the momentum and they give up. No, if you want a business, you've got to understand the beauty of having a business and how it's fully worth that sacrifice. It's fully worth working those extra hours, putting the extra effort, fighting your mental demons, and putting in 6 months minimum to make sure you get enough traction at the beginning. So the difference between expecting short-term results and long-term results is often the difference between success and failure. Next, you want to have an attitude of skills. Every time you work on a business, even if that particular business doesn't work, you don't mind, because firstly, you just love gaining new skills that are going to help you in life. And secondly, you realize that anything you learn about how to use AI in business, how to do marketing, copywriting, sales, use different softwares, this is all going to help you in your business journey. Again, you've got to think long term, and you've got to understand that the skills that you're stacking at the beginning of your business journey are going to help you in year 5 and year 10. But if you're not thinking like that, then you're going to feel like, damn, I've got to learn a new thing, instead of embracing it and thinking, wow, I'm becoming a full stack businessman right now. The fourth attitude of someone who's going to succeed or is succeeding in business is someone who sees everything they do in business as an experiment. They don't put all their hopes into this one silver bullet to work in their business. Instead, they see it as a kind of combination lock. Like, you know, on the side of a suitcase, you've got like 3 digits, for example, and they're just trying to twist those until they find them all lining up. For example, you're going to have a certain customer avatar that you're focusing on selling to. You're going to have a problem they have, and you're going to offer a solution. And you're just twisting those combination of 3 things until it clicks and it works. And when you click it and it doesn't work, it doesn't unlock, you don't worry, because it was an experiment and you learned from it. There's a great book on this attitude, by the way, called The Lean Startup. I read this so long ago and I still quote it to today, and I still use that mindset till today. The fifth attitude that successful business people have is they have a bias for action. They don't like spending too long learning, studying, planning, researching, thinking, analyzing. They like to take action. So they might spend 10, 15 minutes learning something new or planning something, but they want to turn that insight into real action. And those people that take a lot of action, they get a lot of results in business and in life. Next is probably one of the biggest ones. You know, if you've ever bought a business course, you might find at the beginning of it, there are a few videos or lessons around mindset. And when you don't succeed in business, there's this big thing where people complain, customers might complain that they just told me I didn't have the right mindset. Now, yes, maybe those guys are not correct in what they're saying, but a lot of the time, the reason people don't succeed is because of their mindset, is because they let the negative self-talk take over. They let their doubts take over. They didn't have the right attitudes, and that is why they didn't succeed with the business. So it's fundamental as a business owner that you have to fight back the negative voices in your head. You have to see them as external enemies. You have to fight them. You have to swat them away like flies. And these voices never quite go away. You're always going to have a level of imposter syndrome, a level of what if it fails, a level of, oh, but if it succeeds, then this bad thing will happen. But you have to learn the skill, again, of swatting that away and pushing forward no matter what. Attitude number 7 is to always set concrete goals for your business. Don't spend a year building a website, building out a brand and looking up different products and deciding which one you could sell. No, your first 90 days, you want to make $1,000, for example. It has to be clear, it has to be black and white. It has to be non-vague. So $1,000, you either made it or you didn't make it. So you have to run your business with numbers, with specific goals, metrics, and you have to hold yourself accountable to those numbers. And that is a way successful business operators work. And finally, like I experienced, business owners that do well, and this is what helped me do well, is they have accountability. They have some sort of external force pushing them and holding them accountable to their own standards. You set a standard for yourself, for example, make $1,000 in the next 90 days at my first sale, whatever. You hold yourself to that standard, but sometimes your motivation will slip. But get someone else to hold you to your own standards. It's not someone else bullying you into success. It is your own goals and your own standards, but they're just holding you to it. So get accountability. That is one of the biggest ways that you can succeed in business. Even I looked into this, and the founders of Google, they had their own coach, and there was a book written about him called The $1 Trillion Coach, because he coached the 2 founders of Google to get their company to $1 trillion valuation. So that's why they call him $1 Trillion Coach today. So you always need a coach, you need external pressure, you need accountability. And I believe in this so much, and that's why I help people with it. So these are really the attitudes that you're gonna have and you're gonna need to develop in order to succeed in business, and you can do it if you have at least some of these in place. But like I mentioned at the end, accountability actually made me £30,000 specifically. So if you want to learn how that worked, then go watch this video on screen right now. It tells you exactly how that happened.